Jaws! Launch the mortars! Destroy Bond!
Stay alert, 007. The car was never intended to sustain direct grenade impacts. A few more hits like that and you're scuppered, 007.
Warning 007. Radio scanner has picked up activity on the local police band. Patching it through now.
All right, boys! We've got ourselves a situation. A boat, some crazy sports car, and an alleged kidnapping. Get down to the riverbank on the double.
10-4, Sheriff Pepper. We're on our way.
Warning. Vehicle damage sustained. Warning, exterior damage detected.
Watch out, James!
Danger. Heavy damage sustained. Exterior breach imminent. Objective attained.
Your advances are unwelcome, James.
Pity. I'll cancel our dinner reservations then.
Target neutralized. Mission accomplished, 007. Radio scanner indicates local authorities are nearby and approaching quickly.
The BMW Z8 007, with a few modifications, of course. The very latest in intercepts and countermeasures. Titanium armour, dual side vent deployed missiles, forward-mounted rockets and machine guns, mine dispenser aft, and, naturally, remote control operation. Right then. We've learned that as a security precaution, Hammond Light uses a group of mobile vehicles, each equipped with computer terminals, to transmit his most sensitive data. Each one sends coded packets of information at prescribed intervals. We've modified the BMW. The GPS system will signal which vehicle is starting to transmit data. Once you locate the vehicle, your display will mark when you're in the correct range to intercept the transmission. You need to stay within this intercept radius for the duration of the download. Don't get too close, or they'll break off transmission.
Steady now, 007. That's your target. Do not engage, but keep him in range. Just 3 minutes left. Easy does it, 007.
Re-establishing connection. Downloading data now.
Do be careful, 007. That paint is incredibly hard to find.
Establishing connection.
Just 2 minutes left. Easy does it, 007.
Establishing connection.
Please mind the finish, 007. You know what birds can do. There are several of you 00 agents, but there's only one of those vehicles I needed back in pristine order. Just 1 minute left. Easy does it, 007. If you don't have your health, 007, you don't have anything.
Re-establishing connection. Re-establishing connection. Download complete. Connection lost. Download aborted.
You failed to obtain.
The GPS system will signal which vehicle is starting to transmit data. Once you locate the vehicle, your display will mark when you're in the correct range to intercept the transmission. You need to stay within this intercept radius for the duration of the download. Don't get too close, or they'll break off transmission.
Steady now, 007. That's your target. Do not engage, but keep him in range.
Re-establishing connection. Re-establishing connection. Re-establishing connection. Establishing connection. Download complete.
Just 2 minutes left. Easy does it, 007.
Establishing connection. Downloading data now.
minute left. Easy does it, 007. Please mind the finish, 007. You know what birds can do. 30 seconds left. I don't mean to tell you to hurry, do I, 007?
Download complete.
Well done, 007. Now here is a vehicle I'm particularly fond of. The Lotus Esprit. This one has a great heritage and commands your utmost respect, 007. Although still amphibious in spirit, we've had to remove some of the underwater equipment to make room for her payload, a small-yield neutron bomb designed to burn at extremely high temperatures, vaporizing all organic materials.
Very novel, Q. We must get them to the stores in time for Christmas.
As I was saying, 007, you'll need to bypass the security scanners and navigate your way to the center of the facility marked on your radar display. Once you deploy the bomb, you'll need to make a rather hasty exit. Let's continue the proud tradition of success this vehicle carries, shall we, 007?
007, we suspect that Dr. Chase may be in the facility. Ensure you bring her to safety.
We've been breached. Secure the perimeter. He must not reach the central chamber.
Your failure surprises me, Mr. Bond. To think you'd consciously allow the death of an innocent civilian, particularly one as charming as the late Doctor.
Now here...
007, we suspect that Dr. Chase may be in the facility. Ensure you bring her to safety.
We've been breached. Secure the perimeter. He must not reach the central chamber.
Your failure surprises me, Mr. Bond. To think you'd consciously...
007, we suspect that Dr. Chase may be in the facility. Ensure you bring her to safety.
We've been breached. Secure the perimeter. He must not reach the central chamber.
007, we suspect that Dr. Chase may be in the facility. Ensure you bring her to safety.
We've been breached. Secure the perimeter. He must not reach the central chamber.
I'm afraid it's radio silence from this point on, 007. The structure is affecting transmission strength. Now, as I was saying before...
James, you're wonderful!
Double 007, we suspect that Dr. Chase may be in the facility. Ensure you bring her to safety.
I'm afraid it's radio silence from this point on, 007. The structure is affecting transmission strength. Now, as I was saying before...
Oh, James, you're wonderful!
Double 007, we suspect that Dr. Chase may be in the facility. Ensure you bring her to safety.
We've been breached! Secure the perimeter! He must not reach the central chamber! Oh, James, you're wonderful!
Married at sea, Commander Bond. How fitting for a naval officer.
007, we suspect that Dr. Chase may be in the facility. Ensure you bring her to safety.
We've been breached! Secure the perimeter! He must not reach the central chamber! Oh, James, you're wonderful!
Should brighten their day.
Your failure surprises me, Mr. Bond.
Now here...
007, we suspect that Dr. Chase may be in the facility. Ensure you bring her to safety.
I'm afraid it's radio silence from this point on, 007. The structure is affecting transmission strength. Now, as I was saying before...
.007, we suspect that Dr. Chase may be in the facility. Ensure you bring her to safety.
We've been breached. Secure the perimeter. He must...
007, we suspect that Dr. Chase may be in the facility. Ensure you bring her to safety.
I'm afraid it's radio silence from this point on, 007. The structure is affecting transmission strength. Now, as I was saying before...
Leave here alive. Father, I won't make it to the sub in time.
Married at sea, Commander Bond. How fitting for a naval officer.
.007, we suspect that Dr. Chase may be in the facility. Ensure you bring her to safety.
We've been breached. Secure the perimeter. He must not reach the central chamber. Oh, James, you're wonderful!
Married at sea.
I'm afraid it's radio silence from this point on, 007. The structure is affecting transmission strength. Now, as I was saying before...
Oh, James, you're wonderful!
Married at sea.
007, we suspect that Dr. Chase may be in the facility. Ensure you bring her to safety.
I'm afraid it's radio silence from this point on, 007. The structure is affecting transmission strength. Now, as I was saying before...
Oh, James, you're wonderful!
You will not escape alive.
That should brighten your day.
You will not leave here alive!
Your demise is imminent, Mr. Bond. How does it feel?
Splendid 007. I knew the Lotus would be a...
You have skillfully overcome this challenge, Mr. Bond. But you haven't defeated me yet.
This is where it must end, 007. It is imperative that you use any means necessary to prevent that plane taking off with its deadly cargo.
The Lotus has been through quite a bit, 007. It goes without saying that you should proceed with due caution. You'll have to ram the plane to slow it down and to disable the engines.
Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Goodbye, Mr. Bond. The world will now see a new ruler and tremble. The world's leaders will beg for my mercy.
Light has escaped. Get me a satellite fix on his plane immediately.
Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Goodbye, Mr. Bond. The world will now see a new ruler and tremble. The world's leaders will beg for my mercy.
Light has escaped. This is where it must end, 007. It is imperative that you use any means necessary to prevent that plane taking off with its deadly cargo.
The Lotus has been through quite a bit, 007. It goes without saying that you should proceed with...
Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus. Goodbye, Mr. Bond. The world will now see a new ruler and tremble. The world's leaders will beg for my mercy.
Light has escaped. Get me a satellite fix on his plane immediately. He must be stopped. This is where it must end, 007. It is imperative that you use any means necessary to prevent that plane taking off with its deadly cargo.
The Lotus has been through quite a bit, 007. It goes without saying that you should proceed with due caution. You'll have to ram the plane to slow it down and to disable the engines.
Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus.
Try to find a medical kit, 007.
Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus. Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus.
That's it! He's slowing down!
Your attempts to stop me will fail, Mr. Bond.
Try to find a medical kit, 007.
I admire your persistence, Mr. Bond, but your attempts are futile. You can no longer stop the inevitable.
Bond is down. Get me...
Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus.
That's it!
Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus. Goodbye, Mr. Bond. Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus.
That's it! He's slowing down!
Your attempts to stop me will fail, Mr. Bond. I admire your persistence, Mr. Bond, but your attempts are futile. You can no longer stop the inevitable.
James, we've been hit hard! Smoke is pouring from the console!
Any bright ideas?
Oh, bother, it sounds as if you've damaged your electrical systems. Right then, switch to manual systems, 007. You'll need to move the tracking cursor over the target and keep it steady before firing.
All your meddling can't stop me, Mr. Bond. Soon all the world will know the power of Dr. Hammond Light.
Bond is down. Get me a satellite fix on Light's plane immediately. He must be stopped.
Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus.
For heaven's sake, 007, stay clear of the plane's jet wash. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to match that?
I admire your persistence, Mr. Bond, but your attempts are futile. You can no longer stop the inevitable. Goodbye, Mr. Bond.
This is where it must...
Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus.
For heaven's sake, 007, stay clear of the plane's jet wash. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to match that?
Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus.
attempts to stop me will fail, Mr. Bond. I admire your persistence, Mr. Bond, but your attempts are futile. You can no longer stop the inevitable.
James, we've been hit hard! Smoke is pouring from the console!
Any bright ideas?
Oh, bother. It sounds as if you've damaged your electrical systems. Right then, switch to manual systems, 007. You'll need to move the tracking cursor over the target and keep it steady before firing.
All your meddling can't stop me, Mr. Bond. Soon all the world will know the power of Dr. Hammond Light.
Sorry, Doctor, but your flight's been cancelled.
Light has escaped. Get me a satellite fix on his plane immediately. He must be stopped. This is where it must end, 007. It is imperative that you use any means necessary to prevent that plane taking off with its deadly cargo.
Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus.
For heaven's sake, 007, stay clear of the plane's jet wash. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to match that paint?
I admire your persistence, Mr. Bond, but your attempts are futile. You can no longer stop the inevitable.
James, we've been hit
All your meddling can't stop me, Mr. Bond. Soon all the world will know the power of Dr. Hammond Light.
Sorry, Doctor, but your flight's been cancelled.
James, the plane had the virus on board. The fallout from the explosion could be highly lethal. We need to get out of here now.
Bond is down. Get me a satellite fix on Light's plane immediately. He must be stopped.
Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus.
That's it! He's slowing down!
Your attempts to stop me will fail, Mr. Bond.
There are several of you 00 agents, but there's only one of those vehicles I needed back in pristine order. 007. You need to boost your health.
Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus.
That's it! He's slowing down!
For heaven's sake, 007, stay clear of the plane's jet wash. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to match that paint?
Goodbye, Mr. Bond. Just a few more seconds and the code will be transmitted. The victory will be mine. Stay back, Mr. Bond. Any closer and I trigger the global release of my deadly virus. Your attempts to stop me will fail, Mr. Bond.
For heaven's sake, 007, stay clear of the plane's jet wash. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to match that paint?
We've been hit hard! Smoke is pouring from the console!
Any bright ideas?
Oh, bother. It sounds as if you've damaged your electrical systems. Right then, switch to manual systems, 007. You'll need to move the tracking cursor over the target and keep it steady before firing.
All your meddling can't stop me, Mr. Bond. Soon all the world will know the power of Dr. Hammond Light.
Sorry, Doctor, but your flight's been cancelled.
James, the plane had the virus on board. The fallout from the explosion could be highly lethal. We need to get out of here, now!
Don't worry, Melody. From here on in, it's smooth sailing.
I can't understand what turned someone into such a monster, James. Light was prepared to exterminate most of mankind to realize his dream of world domination.
His operation has been dismantled. The virus destroyed. It's over now, Melody.
What do we do now, James? We're in the middle of the Baltic Sea.
It's 12 hours to England.
Your performance calls for a celebration, Mr. Bond. What do you say we pool our resources?